try.
Maybe.
If you want to.
Probably. I'm a big baby. It's comfortable.
Yes, we are here. We can start. We are pushing her slightly aside. You can go ahead. Whoever would like to go first.
What is the name of my spirit guide?
You have a few. We would like for you to choose because you do have male and female. Would you rather have
Female.
even within females, you have two? One moment. The name that they would not mind you using for one of them would be Penelope. But it is up to you what you decide to name her. That is what she has chosen. One moment. We will scan the body. Yes, more questions, please.
Do I have good spirits around me?
It is difficult for us to respond because there is no good or bad. It all has to do with what you resonate with based on the frequency that you are in at that moment in time. You constantly have different spirits around you. Some of them are higher, some of them are lower. It is strictly up to you to go up and down within your own frequency and interact with any of them within that frequency. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Therefore, what we would like, this is strictly what we would like. It is up to you. It is a choice. The more you stay within the positive, meaning believing and knowing that there is only light around you, the more you keep yourself within the higher frequency amongst those spirits, as you would call them, that are of the higher frequency. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But you have many different spirits coming through the house. That is what we are seeing.
Should I cleanse them?
You can, but we would like for you to mostly clean, not necessarily, again, not for the fear of having something more or less lower frequency, but to brighten the mood. Do you understand what we mean?
I do.
Therefore, yes, cleansing would be beneficial, but again, with an intention of brightening your mood.
Yes.
Because there has been a bit of blues, we would say. It is time to come out of it. Do you understand what we are saying?
I do.
We can, if you would like, give advice.
Please.
Your connection with your natural self has been we wouldn't say severed, but it's been blocked for quite a while. What we would recommend one moment, we're scanning the body more because there is lack of joy, basic joy, that is needed to spark your love for life again. We would call it that. What we will recommend is two things. One is one moment. We're figuring out the easiest way for you as a human to get to that specific state where it will be easier for you to take in the world. One would be strictly, it is basic, going outside. Because part of the connection to finding the self is connecting back to the environment that you are a part of. And the easiest or the fastest way is, again, outside, because you are part of that outside world. You are not part of the box that you're sitting in on a daily basis. You are part of everything that is outside. And you're going to have to start basic reprogramming of your conscious mind. And in the basic reprogramming of your conscious mind, you will have to start telling it what to do rather than doing what it's telling you to do. Do you understand what we mean?
I do.
Therefore, as you start telling the conscious mind what you want to feel, therefore telling it, again, you are doing a basic reprogramming of the mind. We'll repeat this many times, over and over, as you were programmed from birth. What you are doing now is you are reprogramming your conscious mind to the point where you start understanding that you are in charge rather than your conscious mind. Because a lot of the thoughts that are coming into your mind, again, self-critical, are not yours. That is programming that was put in throughout your lifetime. And as you go outside, watch your thoughts. Start noticing little things that seem beautiful. You are starting very slowly to process or to change the process of the mind. It can be a color, a specific color. Then it will be bigger things that you will find joy in just by looking at them, as well as being grateful for having the experience. There will be many different changes coming with it. Just start slow. Because the emotions that you will have at times will not be, as humans look at them, positive. We would like for you to stay positive within your mind that it is what needs to happen at this moment in time, and it will pass the moment you are done figuring out that specific emotion and why is it there at that time of your life. Do you have any questions about what we have said?
No.
Again, not to scare you, but from a human perspective, it will get worse before it gets better. Even though you are low now, you have not reached the bottom to where you consciously will decide that this is enough and it needs to change. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But you are very close. But also remember, you are always taken care of. It is just an experience. This is an experience that you have signed up for. Yes, we do understand that as humans, it doesn't help you that much. But as you start taking charge of the conscious mind, you will learn to look at everything from a third perspective rather than just the human. We will call it human, because even though you'll be looking at it from a third perspective, you are, or you will be becoming, we would say superhuman, because the majority of humans are not able to do that. Not that they're not able. The mind cannot comprehend, the conscious mind. Therefore, they refuse to understand it or put it into practice. But it is possible for everyone to do it. But in your case, it needs to get worse in order to get better. Any more questions?
No.
Who is next?
I'll go next. My question might be simple, may not be. Explain to me archangels. Are they just light beings? Are they put there because of the church? Are they just light beings?
Well, in a way, you have already answered your own question. Archangels are a perception that humans have of specific beings. Archangels are not necessarily spirits. Some of them are beings that humans have seen throughout the history of humanity, and therefore have chosen a specific name for them. If we're talking from the historical perspective, again, it's a big mixture of different things. Sometimes they are and they were specific beings. At times, that is how spirit chose to come to a specific person. But if the question is if they're any better or bigger than anyone else on the other side, the answer is not necessarily. Some, as you would call them, archangels, are actually on earth at this moment in time, within a human body, having their own experiences. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or would you like us to tell you more?
Well, it's just that I have a friend who is an angel reader, and when she does, when she reads people, she reads them by way of the angels. So, you have Michael come forward and Gabrielle and Raphael. And so it's like, is that how they're showing themselves to her? I mean, as
Yes.
angels.
Yes.
So she can give you the messages she needs to give to you.
That is what she has created within her mind. But again, whatever she created within her mind was given to her historically by the church that has created specific names for the beings. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because remember, whatever it is that you choose to use, you can choose to use whatever you want. But it will be real for you and it will work for you. That is what her conscious mind has chosen to use, and it works for her. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because in truth, all of those spirits that we will call them spirits or beings, however you would like to call them, they are just different frequency. And you can tell her if you wish to. She will know them without the names. She knows their frequency. If she decides to choose not to have the names anymore, it's a choice, doesn't have to be. She will still know them by their different frequency. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's very interesting. Yeah.
But you create whatever it is that you want within this realm. Anyone have questions about that?
So our thoughts, I believe that our thoughts create our reality. So whatever we want to think about and experience, we can bring into our physical dimension by just thinking that that is what it is, or what we want to create or bring in. Is that right? Like there's no faith. There's it's just what we create.
It is what you decide to create, what you have decided to create for yourself in this realm. Call it whatever you want, simulation, realm, game, however you want to call it. You do have certain things that you need to learn, yes. But as the conscious mind decides that it wants something, yes, you can put it out there as you have it already. Just remember, patience is the key, because this is still a pretty dense world. Therefore, it takes time. But everything is connected within your conscious mind. That is your operating system. However you look at the world and however you see the world is how it will appear for you. You can play game with yourself. Just start thinking about a car, a specific color of the car. It could be a specific model. You will notice that you will start seeing more of those cars. Because you are, yes, now you are paying, you can say you're paying more attention to it. Yes, you can. But in truth, you are attracting that specific car because you are focused on it. Same goes for anything else. Therefore, watch your thoughts. Everything that is happening within your life, within your being, has to do with your thoughts. Any more questions?
So everything is being, am I correct in saying that
we are creating everything from within to without. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
You are creating everything with your thoughts in a way, but the conscious mind does not understand it. So let us explain. We are just scanning to see, because we've spoken about this many times before. Imagine you have a game that you are playing. You have an avatar. And the avatar needs to go through specific challenges to get to the end of the game. You see the game, you understand more because you're the one behind the avatar. But there's certain things that are happening within the game that the avatar reacts to without your say-so. Just because the game is built that way. This is the same thing. Call it whatever you want, soul over soul, but you have a soul that has created this environment to come in and learn certain things. Yes, you are able to manipulate this realm with a conscious mind. But don't forget, you still came here to learn certain lessons. You still have to go through the experiences. No one has taken that away from you. Therefore, the key is to learn, to go within, to connect to the self. And what is connection to the self? It is hearing and listening what the higher self, the oversoul, whatever it is that you want to call it, the soul is telling you and guiding you through the experience. But the key is to find yourself. The only way to do that is to go within. You cannot find yourself based on what others are thinking about you, because they don't know you. They have their own self to worry about. Do you understand what we are saying? Any questions about what we have said? Because we'd rather answer specific questions that you have, because we can go on and on this topic.
I have a question.
Yes.
So lately I've been just like, when things are happening that aren't going the right way, like maybe my car doesn't want to start or be weird or my phone acts up, I've just been talking to this galactic family and asking them to fix my problem. I basically just command it, and it's been happening like really quickly like that. So I just wanted to see if that was what was happening. If these beings are like assisting.
We do assist several times a day for you, because there is a request. And as a family, we feel the need to help. Yes.
Okay.
But certain things, in a way, you are making it or doing it to yourself. You are a much more powerful being that you are able to understand or comprehend And as you are learning your specific energies that are connected to your emotions, please remember your energies are connected to your emotions. It takes certain things, it makes certain things around you work differently. Start noticing. We would like for you to start writing it down, because this will give you a better understanding what emotion is connected to what. These are outbursts of energy that are coming out. You need to learn to manipulate that energy because, again, your energy is here for a reason.
What's the reason? I already know, but
We've spoken about this before.
to help raise the consciousness.
We've spoken about this before.
May I ask?
Yes.
More of a personal question. I'm trying to get it. I try to ask my angels to get it for me to ask it in a way of. I have this question in me, and I'm trying to figure out how to get it out of me. I've been going through like a lot in the last 2 or 3 years. Like, felt like my whole life blew up, but I'm okay. It's definitely made me grow more spiritually and just in general. But I think my big question is sometimes I am absolutely frightened that I am not on the right path, or I'm not listening, or I guess my question is, am I doing, are my angels and spirit guides and are they
Always around. Yes.
and they're helping me, and whenever I feel like I'm like, for lack of better words, like messing up, is it really me messing up, or is it just part of my...
We would like for you to release the idea that you are messing up.
Am I?
Because
Okay.
you have brought it forth. You have brought it forth from a different lifetime that is no longer relevant compared to this one. Nor did you screw up last time. But it was a very traumatic passing that had to do, as you believe, with your own fault. Because the passing was traumatic, the soul has decided to we're trying to find words to explain. Hold on to that specific lifetime.
Can you tell me what it was?
Yes. It was a lifetime of a male during the time of many wars. It was a male who had to do what he needed to do because of the time that he was in. But unfortunately, one small decision brought forth a lot of death. And he had to watch everyone die, including himself at the end. Therefore, there was a big there was a lot of guilt associated with what had happened. And you have decided to brought it forward this lifetime. But you can go ahead and set it aside. It is no longer needed. Yes, you were in charge of all those people. But the circumstances were not in your favor. And the hardest part was watching everyone die.
And I couldn't stop it.
Yes, there was no way to help. It was not that you messed up, as you would say. It is just something that happened. Therefore, you came in with a desire to not mess up. But what does that mean? The conscious mind in this lifetime does not understand, nor does it know what it means without knowing where it came from. This is a completely different lifetime. You have completely different lessons to learn. You learned those lessons that you needed back then very well. Because the biggest lesson was to be in charge, but not to lose your humanity and not to let ego get in the way. And that is exactly what you did. You did not let the ego get in the way. You did everything with your heart. But that is also why it was so hard watching everyone die. Because you went in with your heart rather than with your ego. Therefore, you took it extremely close to your heart, extremely close to the core. We will say these words, again, this is strictly for human understanding, to the core of your soul. To the point where it made an imprint on the soul. And you went forward into this lifetime with already fear of messing up. That is, first, we would say, you did not mess up to begin with. But also, we will repeat, this is a different lifetime.
Am I correct in saying that I feel, first off, like, I know I'm not from this realm. I guess we're not, none of us are. But I feel that I'm very empathic, I've learned, and that probably has something to do with the heart thing.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm extremely powerful, but I know how to tap into it. I just don't remember how to do that. And I'm trying to figure out how to remember. Am I correct?
Writing it down. It will take some time.
Okay.
We would like, again, humans seem to have an issue with patience. Everything is required to be here and now and happening today and this moment. patience, because you will receive or understand the full force when it's time. What we will say now, just write.
Right.
Whatever it is that you want, emotions, feelings, thoughts. Because anything that you will receive and that will open up, as humans will say, has to do with going inside. Remember, if you take anything out of today, your job is to find yourself. To go back to who you are by going over or looking over programming that was put into you. Realizing and deciding what's needed, what's not needed, letting go what's not needed, especially perceptions about yourself that are not positive. And knowing that you are the light. Feel that light beaming out of you. There is no judgment from us. Therefore, why judge yourself? And that's where the writing of emotions and feelings come from. Because the more you clear and the closer you get to the self, the more love you will feel for the self, the easier it is to bring up whatever it is that you want to bring up.
My writing is really powerful, and when I write, what I feel that y'all are saying to me right now is that when I write, I can, whether it be in this human realm or whatever, I can have whatever I want. And I know that, and it's powerful. I just am not tapping into it like I need to, and writing is what I'm supposed to be doing to do that. Is that right?
Yes, you can formulate it that way. Yes. Because as you write, we will repeat. The idea is to find the way back to self.
Right.
As you are writing, you will be finding way to self. You can stay within your mind. You can stay within the brain. Yes, you can, and that is absolutely fine. But putting it down is a lot more beneficial for the human beings.
I've got a question.
Yes.
I'm very, very intuitive, and I touch people all day. And I take in their energy, positive and negative. Oftentimes I can feel what they feel without them even communicating it to me. And I myself have suffered a lot of loss since 2017. And I am yet to be able to release that sadness that I should have. And I just...
You are now. Keep going.
Well, I just can't. I mean, I've lost a lot, but I just wondered if it was because I was so intuitive and I was so in tune with these other people's emotions, and that I was unable to open up that channel to release it.
There's several reasons why you are not able to release. You don't know how. You know how to take in. You know how to store it within the body to the point where it is hurting you, but you do not know how to release. Crying is one form of release. Reliving certain emotions. Your heart will hurt, but allow it to hurt. Just allow those emotions to be and to go through the body. Because as you feel them and as you cry, remember, crying is the basic way for humans to release energy. You continuously are taking it in and not releasing. We will ask, you have your own. Why do you have a desire to take on others?
Good question.
We can't respond for you because you have no idea why. It is a learned function. It is a learned function from childhood. It is time to reprogram the mind. We will ask now, as a grown-up, why do you want to take in other people's emotions?
I don't even realize I do, but I'm a massage therapist, and I do.
It is something to ponder on, because as you ponder on the idea that I am taking it in, yes, everything that you do within your life is an exchange of energy, but you're not exchanging it. You're just taking it in. You're taking in, yes, you might think that you're taking in the positive, but in truth, you're mostly taking in the negative. Because that is the function that you have been doing since you were a child. Do you understand this?
I do.
Therefore, what needs to happen is the conscious understanding and the conscious decision. We are reprogramming the mind. The conscious decision that you do not want to take in negative emotions or negative energy, however you want to call it. Lower frequency energy is what we prefer, but we will call it negative. Or if you do decide to take it because you have a desire to help the person, we understand that desire as well. Visualize it coming in through your hands. At the end of the day, at the end of a specific session with a client, however it is that you would like, we would say do it more often rather than at the end of the day. Because the clients that you are taking in are the ones that do need your help. Not only on the physical level, but on the emotional level and energetic level. But cleanse yourself just by closing your eyes consciously. We are reprogramming conscious mind and consciously telling yourself within your mind, I am releasing any energy that is not mine. And I'm calling back my energy. That does not mean that the other person will go back to where that person was. No. You are just cleaning out the house. But it needs to be done consciously. The conscious mind needs to be involved. This is its realm. And as you do your work, we encourage you to play with energies. Feel the energy that you are giving. Feel the energy that's coming back to you. Do you understand what we mean?
I do.
But also remember to put a bubble around you. However you want it to happen, however you want it to look. It takes a minute, maybe less, to have a conscious thought that I am putting around me a protection. Because remember, being an empath, it is something, yes, that you have chosen to experience. But it does not have to be difficult or unpleasant. Do you understand?
I do. Thank you.
Yes.
Can you ask my spirit guides what I need to do to increase my vibration or increase my frequency?
It is all about thoughts. It is all about thoughts. For you, it is all about thoughts. You are not in the lower frequency, but it is all about thoughts for you. Watch your thoughts. Be mindful of them. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Be mindful of the thoughts that are coming into your mind. That is it.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, I was just curious to know if I feel like my dad and my grandma have been around me a lot lately. From the spiritual realm, if they've been like giving me messages.
What is the question?
Is that true? Is that energy I feel from them really from them? Are they like giving me messages?
What do you feel it is?
Yes.
Therefore, you answered your question. Again, everything that is happening around you is your doing in a way.
Yeah. May I have a little clarification?
Yes.
So I also take in energies like good, bad. I also work servicely with women, and I know that I take in, like I can feel if they're good, bad, and whatever when they come to me. And I feel like my purpose is to take it on.
No, it's not.
Thank you. That was one question, because I want to help them. So, like, these women, they tell me everything. Like, I know their whole lives. And it's like I'm the only one that gets them. I don't judge them or whatever. They feel comfortable to do that. I also know that I hold a lot of it in, and now we know why, since the past life thing. And I just, the cleansing, am I able to, do I need to do that like on a constant basis? Because I feel energy. I can be in the freaking grocery store and Clara can be beside me and I know what she's going through. It's like deeper. It's like very deep. Like it's more than that. It's almost like I know their life or something. And I'm confused to know or I guess my question is, do I, or am I telling myself that?
What your job, we would call it,
Okay.
is just to be. That is exactly what you are doing. You are being and just listening and taking in without judgment.
And that helps them?
Yes, that is all that you are meant to do. It is not your responsibility. They are not your responsibility. Yes, we understand the desire to help. But that is what you are already doing by strictly sitting there and listening. Human realm is very much action-based. We do not need to do any actions in order to help another human being.
Do you think that do y'all think the reason I do that is because of the past life of me not being able to help, and since I brought that with me, is that why I do that?
It can be a combination of several things. Again, as we mentioned, the human realm is very much action-based.
Yeah. Okay.
But as you decide and understand that your role is to strictly listen, and as you listen, do not take on their emotions. You can do that by creating a bubble around them, a bubble of embrace, because what they truly need is the feeling and emotion of being loved. And as you are listening, within your mind, create that bubble with an emotional feeling of a warm hug. You are just sending love to them. Not pity love. Love. It's not feeling sorry for them because of what they're going through. You are sending love. And you are able to do that.
Because I'm pure love.
Yes. Each one of you is. But the key is to consciously tell yourself, there is that split second where you decide that you want to take on the emotion of that person, or whether you want to not do that. You are used to strictly taking in. But there is that split second of the decision that you make. The more consciously you decide to not take that on and surround the person with the bubble of love, you will start noticing that split second and how to change it back and forth.
Okay, understood.
It is, in a way, will feel to you like going into that person's energy fully. Yes, it's exciting. Yes, you've done that many, many times.
Yeah.
But it is time to not do that anymore. It works for you as well. Do not do that anymore. There is no need for that.
Is that what's holding me back from the other things that I've been wanting to do, especially with the other things I've been wanting to do?
What is holding you back is being tired.
Yeah.
And you are tired by, again, taking in what is not meant to be taken in.
Okay.
And it is meant to stay with that person. But you are already giving. You don't need to take in. You cannot take on all of their issues, even energetically.
Okay.
Just remember that.
Okay.
You are love. You're sending out love. and you're creating a love bubble around them
Okay.
as a support. That's it.
Okay. Understood.
You are here to help. Like everyone else, you're all here to help. What does that mean? Does that mean you need to go and fight? No. Help can be very small. Help can be just a smile or just being kind to someone. That is help. You know when you help. But the main goal, we will repeat. Each one of us has repeated, is to find the self. Because the main goal for the humanity is to rise in frequency. And the only way that is possible is if each one of you will go inside. Yes, meditation is a must. It's a choice. But this is the time to go inside. What is inside? Your thoughts. As your thoughts become, we will say this word, even though we do not agree with it, positive or higher frequency thoughts. First, watch for thoughts about yourself. What are your thoughts about you? How do you talk to yourself? How do you address yourself? This will increase your self-esteem, not ego. There is nothing wrong with ego, but the key is not to increase the ego, but self-esteem. Does that make sense?
Yes.
More questions, please.
What's going on with the earth right now? Is it something that needs to be done? And what can we do to help?
There are many things that are happening. What exactly would you like to know?
All the wars, all the killings.
What about them?
Is it something that needs to happen in order to move on, or?
It is not necessarily that needs to happen from our perspective, that it is something that needs to happen from the human perspective. We will answer it in that way. It is just a phase. Throughout, we're trying to find a better way to explain to you what is happening. Think about a flame. Or think about a candle. If you turn it on, the only way to turn it off is obviously not if you're not putting it out. On its own, the only way it can turn off if there's no wind again. We understand, as we decided to take this example, there are many different scenarios. But let's imagine the only way that it is able to go off is to completely burn out. That is what humanity is going through certain energies will only be able to leave Earth if they completely burn out. And that's why we are telling you that we don't want to call it job, but what we highly urge at this point in time is going inside. Because too many people are very much concerned with everything that is happening in the outside, following their ego, therefore creating wars and everything else that you have at this point in time. The only thing that you are able to do is to work on self and go inside. That is the only thing that you are able to do, and allow those energies to burn out as they are burning out. And they will burn out. At this point in time, you still have the choice, of course, but as we see it, at this point in time, you are on the timeline where they will burn out. And again, patience. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen in a month. Patience. And again, you can choose to take in the energy or not to take it in. Question is, what is the need for you to take it in? How is it helping you to go through this lifetime? How is it helping you in finding out who you truly are and connecting to the self? So to answer your question, what it is that you can do, again, focus on the self. That is all that you are able to do. If you feel called to, again, human realm, if you feel called to help with donating, go ahead and do it. But there is nothing else that you are able to do unless you feel you can. And even when you do, if you are able to do, again, ask yourself whether it is needed to take on that emotion and that energy. That is it. But it will not, again, from the human perspective, it will not get any better anytime soon. And when we say soon, again, tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now. Focus on the self. More questions, please.
I have a question. So somebody recently just came into my life, and I was just kind of curious if this was like a romantic relationship that's going to evolve, like in the highest frequency of goodness, or if it's just here.
An experience. It is an experience. That is it.
Could I ask the same question? Because somebody just came in my life too.
It's an experience.
It's just. Is it just that when you say it's an experience, does that mean it's gonna flow how it's gonna flow, or
You are trying to figure out the outcome before anything has happened.
right?
Whoever comes into your life, they come into your life for a reason, because the decision was made on the other side to connect the two. Remember, Any connection that you have is there to teach you as well as you are teaching them. The teaching is not necessarily from only positive emotions. A lot of the times, the best teachers are those who bring out the worst in you, as humans would say. Because what they are bringing out in you are the emotions that you need to look at, and they have been sitting very deep within you, need to be looked at, worked through, and released. If you choose to run from a relationship, which is absolutely fine, question if you are running from not feeling those emotions. Or this person is truly not good for you. Does that answer your question?
Kinda. What if, okay, that part, right? That part of learning, like, from that person, say you work through that part with that person, and then it almost feels like an angel gets delivered to you in your life after the storm, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Should I rephrase? Okay.
But what is the actual question?
So the question that I have is, and I think maybe Jess as well, is we had very toxic, we had people in our lives that we definitely know that we had to learn from, and it brought out the not the best in us. So we had to learn how to
transmute that energy into something better, which is
right,
healing generational trauma and inner child
and
healing.
learning all of that stuff. But then these angel men, so it seems, came in our lives. It's really weird that it happened almost at the same time. But
don't idealize people, please.
Okay.
Everyone is still very much human.
Okay. Okay. So does the good, is it, I think...
There is no black and white. There is no good or bad.
Okay.
It is experiences. Therefore, it will look a specific way now. It will look completely different tomorrow.
Okay.
But please don't put it into buckets, good or bad, toxic, not toxic.
Got it.
It just is. And it is a choice of both parties as you face certain issues. It is a choice of two parties to decide how to work with those issues.
Okay.
If you work on your end, the other person does not work on their end, it is a choice, but it might be time to move on.
Right.
But if two people are working because there is a desire to work on the common goal and there is a desire to change, not for someone else, for self.
Yeah.
Again, there's still choices. And these are all just experiences, but please do not idolize. You're all still human.
Right.
This is a human experience. It is the norm for human experience to idolize, and then it is done to have disappointment. Because that is a game within your conscious mind.
I have one question I'm curious about. I was curious if Jen and I have had past lives together.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Not human, but yes.
No.
In the galactic realms? Like in the other spiritual realms?
You have worked together by being, you were different beings But yes, you worked together on a common goal.
Do you know what that goal was?
There were several goals. One was a planet was dying, and your goal was to save as many as possible. That was one.
Did we succeed in that?
You saved as many as possible.
Okay.
But yes, you still work together even to this day. Well, no matter where you are, whether it is in the human realm, by the energy that you bring, or when you sleep, you are still working together. It was just a choice that you made to come back.
Okay, I thought so. I was just curious.
Yep.
Dream team.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, for sure.
Knew I knew you.
That's funny.
Any more questions?
I guess I'm last.
We have been waiting, yes.
Okay. I've been listening. I guess I'm curious to know who I was in a previous life, so I can understand what role I play in this life and what my purpose is, being in the environment I'm in, choosing this reality, choosing the people that I'm with. I just want to understand where I came from originally and what my lessons are now.
When you say originally, could you specify that? You have been around the block.
Oh.
Yes, girl.
I guess who was I before this life?
Before this life, you were still on Earth, very much another female. But if you want to move backwards a lot more, you do come one moment. Whatever you're working through now, as far as your surrounding, those are old karmic relationships related to previous Earth lifetimes. You, in a way, decided to come down and help out and got stuck. Because we will tell you something at this moment in time, but we will like to explain afterwards because humans put different meanings to the words that we are going to say. Your origin, as you would put it, or one of the first assignments after the creation of your spark of your life, was more of an angelic realm. And again, what do we mean by that? Your job was mostly to observe and help out when asked. Therefore, you traveled to many different places and observed. Think about it as a visual historian. Therefore, it is easier for you at times to observe from the outside. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That is exactly what you're still doing. That comes naturally to you because that was something that you enjoy doing.
Is that is that a positive, higher vibration for me to observe and
Yes, it is always better to observe rather than take in.
I still feel like I'm taking in.
Yes,
though.
you are. But that is something that was, again, very much taught to you as a child. You can choose not to. And connect to that part of you that does strictly observation.
So how will I clear the karmic patterns that I keep reliving in every
By
life?
observing the self. Take the same and observe the self. Observe your feelings when something is happening. Observe your thoughts. Become an observer of your life. Because it is easier to observe others. Work on becoming an observer of your life. As you observe your life, your emotions, your feelings, your patterns, you will start seeing ways to change them. And as you change the patterns, as the beliefs will start changing, the people will start leaving your life. But that is a matter of you being okay with it. And we don't mean dying. Because the lesson will be learned, there will be no need to continue repeating the same lesson. Because what is karma? Karma are specific lessons that you have decided to come and learn this lifetime. It is not something dirty that you have incurred. It is just lessons that you did not finish learning. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you have any specific questions about what we said?
I guess what is going to help me learn? I guess you said learning or observing the self more, which I feel like I've been doing. Would you say that I'm
Patience. Remember?
am I taking those steps now in this specific time period? I feel like in the last 2 years my consciousness has expanded and I feel like I've been growing more spiritually. Am I on that right path to healing those karmic patterns, or am I still falling short and repeating the same patterns again?
We will ask you that same question. What do you feel? Go deep within. What is the answer? Because you do know the answer. What is the answer? No judgment.
I feel like I'm still stuck.
Why do you feel that you are still stuck?
Because I feel like I'm experiencing things different when I'm by myself, but when I'm around others, I feel like I'm still attracting dysfunction in my life. And I don't know why, and I don't know how.
From our perspective, you are doing very well. Because again, it is easier for you to judge the self. What about being gentle to the self? What about saying, I am learning, I'm in the process? Because we do see the process. We see the difference. Think of yourself several years ago, 5 years ago. What was the difference?
The difference was I cared too much what other people thought.
Yes, less awareness. So you have been on the path already. Patience. You want to be somewhere else, meaning you want to be further along than what you are ready for. Remember that you are here to learn lessons, however you want to call it. And it's like you are trying to speed up the process. There's no such thing as you finished learning all the lessons and then what? Learning lessons is a lifelong process. And if ever you feel like you are stuck, think back at yourself several years back. You are a lot further along than you were. You might feel stuck at the moment because you want something to happen. Human realm is all about action. Sometimes you need to feel lost. That's a requirement. Why? Because that is what you chose to experience. Be in the moment. Feel lost. And allow yourself, I'm feeling lost. Where do I go next? How exciting. Because you're constantly trying to get somewhere. There needs to be a result. There needs to be a result. You'll never see the result if you'll continuously look for the result. But if you will allow things to happen, at times you will feel lost. At times you will feel physical pain from emotions. Allow it to be. It is all temporary. Observe those emotions. Observe feeling lost. How does it feel? Write it down. Put it down on paper. And as you read it, you will see that the majority of things that you put down have to do with the judgment of self.
What if it's just the lost feeling is because I feel like I'm lonely and nobody else can understand my perspective or my way of thinking?
But guess who can? You can.
I guess it's just natural for me to want to connect with more people like me.
But you are already connected. Put it down on paper. Because again, we are always around. Therefore, we do realize that you are not able to see us. And for humans, it's all about physical. But if you put it on paper and you take a moment, just to feel. You will feel that we are there. Then by definition, you are not alone. And remember, feeling the way you do, there is a reason for it. It is temporary. And the reason is just to be and to feel that specific feeling at that moment in time. Do you understand?
Yes.
The only way to release that feeling is to actually feel it. And then remember that you are never alone. So when you sit in your lowest of the low, it doesn't have to be the lowest of the low. But if you sit and you feel lonely, that is strictly a perception of the conscious mind. But if you choose to tell your conscious mind that I'm always taken care of and I'm not alone, you will no longer feel alone. The idea of we understand it, the desire to find like-minded people. But you can be amongst like-minded people and still feel lonely. Because unless there is a connection to self, it can be the happiest place in the world, and you can still be very unhappy there. Do you understand?
Very much.
Therefore, the only way to work is to work within. And remember that you are never alone.
How many spirit guides do I have around me?
You have 4 at the moment, but at times you have as many as 7, depending on what you are going through.
Are any of them relatives that have passed on?
Well, relatives are always there whenever you are not doing well because they worry. And we say this not so that you don't worry or so that you don't feel bad, meaning so that you don't bother them in a way. That is what they want to do. So if you feel bad or lonely at that moment in time, it is okay that they are there. But they look in. Does that make sense?
May I ask how many spirit guides I have around me?
At the moment, 1.
So where do your spirit guides exactly come from? Like, who are they exactly?
Yeah.
Are they family from other realms? Is it,
For different people, it's very different.
Okay.
For some, to explain it easier for you, imagine having a buddy. It's a buddy on the other side. And you decide to ask that buddy to be your helper for this lifetime. Some ancestors stick around, yes. Sometimes they go do their own thing, and they still come and look in.
I have a question.
Yes.
It just came to my mind, so I'm going to ask it. I was in this medical bed thing, this vibrational bed thing that my friend made, and he asked me what I wanted to work with. I said some past life stuff. And I had this lady come to me who was like very, very old, but she looked young. Like, I knew she was like 95, but she looked like maybe she was like 80, but I knew that she was old. And I don't know, I just have this like feeling with this lady. I don't know if you got like, and I feel like she was in like she was from a different country, like a tribe from a different country.
Yes.
Do you know what that is exactly?
What is the question?
Like, who was she? What was she doing? Why did she show herself to me? There were also these energies behind her, but I think it was from this tribal life that I had.
It is a lifetime. That is still some residual energy.
The one where we got slaughtered? Is that the one?
Feels like you got slaughtered in many of them.
Yeah.
But this was your elder within that specific lifetime. She is there to release the energy that is still stuck within the body.
And I believe that it's tied to this other human that's been in my life. I feel like he was a part of the killings. Is that right?
There was a betrayal, yes. Because it is not strictly killing, there was a betrayal.
Like what can you explain more? I've been figuring this out for years, and if I could just get some more answers would be cool.
It had to do with the inner fighting. There was a fighting between the tribes, but at the same time, there was a betrayal from within the tribe. So the outside tribe came in and was able to achieve everything that it did based on the betrayal that came within the tribe. It's just a matter of ego and power. But it is the betrayal that you're still holding on to.
So was I a part of the betrayal?
No, you are the one who was feeling betrayed.
Did I get taken away or something? How was I betrayed? Was it a love affair?
No, it was a very close friend. Meaning it was a person that you trusted. But that trust was broken by the betrayal. Again, had to do with ego of the person doing the betraying.
Okay, so
but that was a very close relationship.
So what? So were we both men? Were we both women?
Yes, you were both men.
Yeah, I knew it. So did the other tribe come in and attack us?
Yes. The majority was killed. Yes.
And was that the betrayal part?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Well, the women were taken in, but the majority of men were killed. You did die eventually as well. And yes, you were taken in, but you were killed eventually.
Oh my God.
Because there was no desire from your end to accept the other side.
So what? So was I taken in kind of like a prisoner?
Yes.
And was I tortured? I mean,
You were definitely beaten
yeah.
into submission,
Oh,
which you refused to do.
so is this?
So the elder female was the elder of the tribe. She was, as you would say, the sorceress.
So what does sorceress mean exactly?
She was the seer. She was the healer.
Yeah. So the tribe was smaller, wasn't it?
Yes.
Would you say like 40 people or something?
A bit more, but yes, quite small.
And the betrayal that was done, was it done by this guy that I just like released karmic energy with? Been working on releasing that from the last 2 years?
Well, you had many lifetimes with him, remember? That was not the only one.
Were they all torturous?
They were all very different.
Does he wear many faces?
Again, you're going into good or bad. There is no good or bad. There are just experiences. That lifetime, that is what he chose. Because ego took over and the desire for power.
Which is still what's happening to this day. Okay.
That is a lesson that needs to be learned. Yes.
Yeah.
May I ask, do I have just one spirit guide all the time?
No.
Okay.
No, they change.
It's like when I'm in a safe place or something, I probably have one. And whenever I'm like really going through it, more of them come through.
If that what makes you feel better, yes. But yes, whenever you're going through something, there is more. At this moment in time, one has decided to be around.
Okay. That's
Very much winged creature.
that's awesome. Okay. I'll take it. I know why there's only one right now. I feel like I know why. So that's why I wanted to know that.
Well, the one that needed to be here at the moment, that is the one that comes in.
Mainly. Okay.
Any more questions?
And will I meet with you after the group session to go back to my origins and where I originally started and from the point of after creation and my role in that lifetime?
We don't necessarily understand the question.
Earlier when you were speaking to me of where
Yes.
first originated,
Yes.
you said I had some sort of angelic role.
Yes.
Could you?
Realm. We would call it angelic realm from the human perspective. You were just a light traveling throughout the universe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Observing what was happening in many different places, including Earth.
Did I help anybody when I was?
Your job was to observe. You could help, yes. But the job was mainly to observe and learn.
What specifically did I learn from doing that?
You learn many different things. You learn how humanity works by being on Earth. The fact that you don't necessarily like it. In other places, you learn other things.
So if I did not like what was happening on Earth, why did I choose to live in this reality on Earth and have a human experience?
That's the excitement of it. You learn better by being or doing rather than watching. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You decided to come down. You came down many different times. But as we mentioned before, if we want to look at it linear, previous lifetimes, you in a way got stuck. Because you took on harder and harder lessons. And the conscious mind, for many different reasons, was not able to learn.
Can you recall in my last lifetime you said I was a female?
Yes.
How did I pass?
You passed from illness. From a human perspective, it was not a happy life. Lots of oppression.
Because it feels like I've been going through that in this lifetime. I've had illness since I was young.
Yes.
But now I've changed my eating habits. I've tried to be more connected to nature. But yet I still feel like I'm still going through that suffering of illness, like emotional illness. Is that correct?
Yes.
So would the solution be to continue to work on self and still incorporate the habits that I'm doing now to move past it?
You can incorporate the habits that you have now because that is how the conscious mind understands it needs to happen because you are still in 3D world. Therefore, you need to work within the 3D realm. Yes. But you are able to change the thoughts and the beliefs of the conscious mind. Do you understand what we mean by that?
A little. Maybe I need more specification. Because I would like to obviously live a happier life and not pass the way I've passed in other lifetimes.
This is a different lifetime. The earth is within the different frequency. The society is also very much different. Therefore, you will not be passing the same way. What we would say as one moment. We would like for you to do an energetic practice. As you lay down to go to sleep, visualize the energy coming in from the top of your head. And coming in through the top of your head. If you are able to do it every night, that will be fabulous. And as it's going, again, it can be any color. Red is the one that we see best for you, but it is up to you. And it is like a very gentle, warm light coming into your head. Creating this very gentle and pleasant emotion within your body as it's moving through the body. If you feel any tightness anywhere within the body, visualize that warm light breaking down whatever it is that is in the way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Therefore, connecting this way to the body, to the physical, but also to the inside. You can take as long as you want to do that, or as little as you want. Go with the emotion within the body, but not from fear. With the emotions within the body. And just continue going down until you get to your feet. And then you can just release it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
That is what we would recommend at the moment.